I'm on a higher for MemPrice, and you're welcome to the second session of MemPrice Fortran HackerFest, where we are going to learn about website development. So let's start. So the web is internet service invented in 1989, but went to mainstream in 1991. So it was invented by Tim Berners-Lee in Switzerland, in ZenLab, where it was invented to enable scientists to communicate and share information among themselves. So the web itself is made up of web pages. So a collection of a web page is called a website. And what differentiates this website is their hyperlinks, right? So you can able to move into kind of like portal into the next page through what we call the hyperlinks. So what you see here, the building block of a web page is the HTML. So HTML is the language used in building a website, and its full name is Hypertext Markup Language. So let's see the structure of a hypertext markup language, right? So the HTML code, which is the building block of a web page, is also called elements. And these elements are made up of tags, which are the open tag and the closing tags. So what you see here is anatomy of an HTML code, right? Anatomy of an HTML element. And this is an anchor tag. And this one makes an HTML page an HTML page. So this one makes you to be able to link to another page, move to another page, portal to another page, and hyperlink code. And from the sign, the less than sign to the greater than sign over here is called the opening tag with the A. So the A stands for anchor tag, anchor tag, right? And from this part 2, where you see the less than sign and the forward slash and the greater than sign with the A in it, is called a closing tag. So an anchor tag is made up of what? An opening tag and a closing tag. And every tag, right? Every HTML code, every element has attribute. I mean, mostly they have attribute. Most elements has attribute. And what you see here is an attribute of the anchor tag. And so this attribute is called href, meaning hypertext reference, right? Hyperlink reference. H stands for hyperlink or hypertext. Then the ref stands for reference. So it is an attribute. An attribute are made up of what? Properties and value. So the href is the name of the property of the attribute, and the https colon / MemPrice.dev is the value, right? So every attribute has a property and a value. So the property and value of the href attribute is what you see over here. And in between, you write a word so that when you click, you can move to another page. So you will see it in our code very soon, as we're about to start coding on our VS Code. Okay, so let's open our browser and let's check a website page source. The code that runs the website. So let's open our browser. But before we do that, let's organize the tabs over here. They look very disorganized. So we're going to create a folder. So let's create a folder to organize them, put them in. Welcome new folder. And let's give it a name for us to remember. Whenever you see the folder, we know, okay, this is what it contains. This is where our work contains, right? Our website works content. So let's find a good name for it. So we can say web studio. Yeah, web studio would be cool. Web studio, right? So good. So when we say, so web studio is great. So let's put our software into it. So let's cut. Let's paste it here. Alright, they look more organized now. So it still look foolish. Like it still look like there's a folder icon there. So if you're Windows, you can drag it down. If you're Windows, you can change the icon here, right? So you just right click and go to properties and go to customize and go to change icon, right? So let's look for a nice icon for it so that whenever you see it, we can remember, okay, this is where our website projects are. So let's look for something like web related. Okay, I mean, we just passed by one very nice one. Yeah, this one cool. Let's use this one. Apply. Okay. So yeah, we now have our customized folder that contains all of our, that is going to contain all of our web projects. So let's put it down somewhere we can really get to it very easy. Yeah, this place looks very better. So now let's open it and we can like to view it in larger icons. Okay, so I can see it. So let's open it so that we can see what's going on. Browser. So this is our browser, as you can see over here. So let's look at something. So this one you see here is a Google search homepage, right? Let's look beneath it. What's behind? So when I click on, when you right click on it, anywhere, then you come to view page source. It's gonna give you this, right? As you can see over here, it's gonna give you this, and this shows a lot. So this shows that what this code runs what you see here, right? So you can see this is the background links you see over here. So this link you see here, right? This link you see here, it's over here too, right? So this is the links, right? Rep as shortcut. So let's look at, you see, we say that it will be written over there. So Chrome MD. So that's how it looks. So this code is what makes out to see this, right? What makes out to see this. So we shall be coming here and run steps over here. So let's check GitHub too and let's see. So when a GitHub opens over here, so so what is seen here is GitHub homepage. So this you see here is being controlled by HTML pages, right? So it'll be starting with some CSS and JavaScript and some interactive with JavaScript. But the main block, as I said earlier on, is what? Is HTML, right? The hypertext markup language. So this is what's controlling it. These are the building blocks you see here. So let's see the building blocks run this. So let's right click. I mean, you can do it anywhere, but make sure you don't click on any of the and right click here. You can see of maybe some image. Otherwise, it will pop up. And you right click here. You can see it gives you certain weird image. There's no view page source here, as you can see right here, right? You didn't see any view page source here because you have clicked on an image. So let's click on the body over here. So yes, view page source. So it'll shift it to the code that runs what? The code running what? GitHub, right? The HTML code running GitHub. And these are the HTML code that's running GitHub over here, as you can see over here. So yeah, you see the anchor tag I took earlier on? Yeah, that's some over here. So whenever I click on this anchor tag, it is sent into some page. I'm sure this one is being let's see whether we can find the anchor tag installation over here. So yeah, we can see it over here. So there are more anchor tags. When you click it, it is sent to somewhere, as we are seeing over here. Something over here, GitHub skills. This looks like the heading, right? Don't worry about what I've just said about heading. We shall talk more about HTML tags a lot. Yeah, so this is what makes this code is seen here, right? Runs the GitHub homepage you see over here. This beautiful page you see over here. So let's open our code and let's start to write some code like this so that we can view it on our browser and host it very soon. So let's go to our Web Studio and open our folder over there. When you click on it, we have our Visual Studio Code over here. So when you click, it's gonna pop out our VS Code for us. But first, let's open it first and let's see how things look. Yeah. So we have our Visual Studio Code open over here, and what you see here is the VS Code we download over here. So we would like to go a little bit intro into it, but we won't dive deep. So what this sidebar you see here is when you click there, that's where you can create our test over there, right? Our folder. So you come here in Hover, you see new file, create a new file. You can see save, or I mean we don't have any file open, so that's why it's open folder. That's why. So here is for search. You can search for any code you've written down, any file name. Here's get, right? You can control your project, and here's the back where you used to create your code. Yes, so when you say debugging programming, what's creating of your code, and here is the extension. Wow. So yes, where you can download VS Code extension to enhance the capability of VS Code, right? So there are some extensions over here. You have Python extensions and some JavaScript extensions too. So we shall, when we get the use of Python and JavaScript, we'll be downloading the extension to use it over in VS Code. Right, so let's start. Let's create our folder and open it. So right now we don't have any folder to work in, right? To keep our website files and folders. So let's create one. Let's come here and let's click. Let me enlarge this. So let's click new folder. Folder. And let's name it my rep, right? My first, okay, my rep. I made it school. My rep is cool. Okay, great. So there are two ways you can open it in your VS Code, right? You can come here. You can just come here and open folder and it will send you there. But the best way is to come in here, right click, see the option over right, open with code. When you click on it, it opens with what's a code, a brand new code for you to use it. So that's the best way of opening VS Code. So let's enlarge it. So when we enlarge it, so we're creating our first HTML page here. We come here, click, you see it opens our and click here. It opens our my web folder for us. So here you can see new file, new folder. So this is where we are going to create our files and folders. So when you click here, give us an option to create a new file, right? So let's create a new file. So we say what should we name it? First HTML. So we say first.html. Okay, let's name it index file right now, right? So that we so for you to know, in every coding project you need to have an index file, right? So that's where the it's like the points, like the leading file of your project. So index file is like the leading file of your project. So index file. So we end it with what? HTML, so that you know that the file is an HTML file. So we end with what? The file extension. So bring a dot, then bring what? HTML, right? So let's click enter. So let's create. Let's see. Okay, let's wait for the CSS file. So let's deal with it first. So we come here, start to write our HTML code, right? And HTML code, there are a whole lot of elements, as we saw in. Write the element code as I show you in a slide previous one. So when you write HTML, there are certain elements that can give you a template for you to work on to kickstart your project very fast. So when you type HTML, you have three options over here. So these are Emmet abbreviation. Emmet was first an extension, right? A VS Code extension that enables to what? powers you to code faster in HTML. And now it's like a default feature in VS Code now, right? So you don't need to install it as we install our extension over here. So it's already been installed for you. So let's click on HTML5. So it will give us a template to kickstart our project, right? So someone said, HTML5, what's that? So we have types of HTML, right? We have HTML4, 3, 2, 5. But the current version of HTML is what? HTML5. So see the doc type with HTML. This HTML code is C here, right? This element is C here. This tag is C here. Means what? It's tells the browser that to render this HTML page that what? This HTML page is in what? HTML5. So that's why you just written out what? Doc type HTML. So whenever you see a web page, HTML website like this, it means what? It is written in what? HTML5. But if it's 4, you have a way of writing it. But now we don't normally code using HTML4 and 3. But in a new version, we're using HTML5. So let's use that. So what you see here, this tag see here, so this element see here too, is the HTML tag. So this encompasses what this hold all the codes going right in it, right? So I don't know whether you've studied something right now over here. So this tag has no closing tag, right? The doc type tag has no closing tag because there are two main types of what? Of HTML elements, right? So when you go to CSS, you get to appreciate the two main types of HTML elements. So that's where it really shows and tells what they are. So we will talk about that when we doing CSS. And now let's use this way. Let's go by this way. So this one is called what? An empty tag, because it's not holding any element, or it's not holding any text, or not holding any character. It's called what? An empty tag, right? And the HTML is called a container tag, because when I click, say it's been highlighted here and highlighted here with a forward slash of a closing, which shows what? Represents what? A closing what? Tag. So this HTML tag is holding, right? It's called what? An holding tag or a container tag. So it's holding the head tag and the body tag. So this head tag 2 and body tag 2 are all what? Container tag, because they are holding what? Other tags, right? So let's come and explain what the head tag and the body tag is. So the head tag, in everything we create, right? Coding is being like taking the real world into what? A visual world. So it was being kind of imitated into what? The visual world. Is the computer world? Is the Microsoft world, right? So in the head, you have the head. So the head is where you write certain HTML code in there, right? That's have its own special function of it. You write some special HTML code function to perform. The example is the meta tag. So when you say meta is something that's what? Meta in plain English means what? Something keeping what? The data of something, right? So it's like a data keeping the data of something, right? So it's like the information of the web page. So this is where you get the information of the web page. Though we write some information on the web page for the browser to render, but yeah, it keeps certain kind of information that is high level. So for the browser to understand. For example, is the character set meta, where it tells the browser, okay, this one is in what? ETFA-8. So I mean, we're not explaining much about this. Then we also have the ETB equivalent, which is true that what? It's compatible and has content with what? Then Explorer. I mean, so it has also viewport over here. So that's the meta tag over here, right? And we have the title. So the title is what you normally see on top of the browser as the name, right? As the name of what? The browser, of the web page, right? The web page being rendered in the browser. So we write those stuffs in the head, right? So as time goes on and we learn, we can realize the kind of tags we write in the what? In the head tag. And let's come to the body. So the body is where we write what are going to be what? Rendered on the page, right? The page you saw in the GitHub page, once I was trying to scroll the image, those stuffs, they're all been written in what? The body tag. The body tag is a container tag, or a holding tag that holds HTML to be rendered, HTML that are being rendered in what? The browser. So let's write. So this will be writing our pages that are going to be rendered, right? So we want to render a text, images, those kind of stuffs, a video, audio, a visual, anything kind of stuff, you write in what in the word in the body, and it has its own that is own HTML element or HTML code that we write in there. So we want to write a code that will be rendered in what the HTML page. You see, most websites have some border heading, right? So we're going to write 1, 2. So let's type handedly over here. So you type a less than sign, then you type H, right? You see, we have options we can choose. We have types of heading: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. These are types of heading we can choose. So let's choose. I'll be choosing H1 here. Print tag with what a greater than sign, right? So you can see immediately I close it, give us immediately I completed writing the opening tag, it gave us what a closing tag automatically, right? So that's the benefit of what Emmet. So you already installed for you, don't worry, you don't need to install it again. So in the H1, let's write some text for it to be displayed on our browser, right? So let's type hello. What should I? Okay, hello world. I mean, that's programming first language. Hello world. Let me take. Okay, so hello world. This is my first coding. All right, great. So let's look at how this looks in our browser over here, right? So you can see it looks different. So you can come here, you can right click here, and you can click on the view in file explorer. Then it take you to your web, to my web folder where you are storing your web pages in, where your projects are. So you right click. So let's open it with our Chrome Dev. So let's start with the Chrome Dev first before we go to the Firefox for Developer Edition. So let's click on it. So it spin off the web page for us, and you see the text we've written here on the browser, right? You can see it in browser. So okay, so this is how it looks. Boldly written there. Hello world, this is my first coding, right? So this is how it looks. All right, so now let's come back to our VS Code. Let's write more of the code. So let's write a paragraph. Let's first write a paragraph here. So the HTML code for paragraph is P, right? P for paragraph. And we have A for apple. So yeah, so in coding, in website coding, is P for paragraph, right? So let's write P. And you can use the Emmet, but I don't use the Emmet. I don't want to use the Emmet, so I'll type in full. So I'll start with the less than sign, then I type P, then I end with the greater than sign. So you see, when I finish writing opening tag, it automatically gave me the closing tag, right? So that's how it works. Press enter. So let's type the words in there. Let's type the paragraph in there. So I don't really have anything in mind to type, so I'm going to use Lorem, right? So Lorem is like an LOREM. So Lorem is an MS code that lets you what get words or paragraph or proof of content of words or text in your code. So you can use Lorem to test how a text will look on your website. So let's Lorem, and it automatically generates a paragraph for me. So you can see it's very long, but it's not well formatted. So let's hold on Shift Alt F, formatted well. So you see it's well formatted over here now. So but it looks very small for me. So I want to increase it. So you can specify the number of words you want in your paragraph or in your text by when I use Lorem. So you can write, so you write Lorem and type 2. So you want only 2 words, you can type Lorem 2. Right? But yeah, I want over 100 words. Okay, let me use 100 words. 100. So I'll add 100 words to my already generated words in a paragraph. So let's Lorem 100 and let's press enter. See that generated 100 words of in Lorem. That's for me. So I press Shift Alt F, and I format it. So you can see this looks very well. Paragraph. This looks like a paragraph with a whole words. Yeah. So let's view how it looks in the Chrome dev. Like, let's look how it looks in the Chrome dev. So let's refresh it. You can see here, right? It looks very nice. Been donated over here, right? So let me open the Chrome dev too. Let's see how it looks in there too. So when I press F12, you get this in there, right? So you think maybe I came to the Chrome dev to write all this stuff in there? No, I mean, the browser will generate the HTML code that is being rendered. That is rendering, right? That is what that is processing it, right? So over here, so the browser has processed it, has generated a will view the HTML code that you use to write your website in the Chrome dev over here. I see over here. So whenever I hover on it, get highlighted over here, right? You get highlighted over here, right? Good. So you can press this sign to get over here and see where it is. So this, so now when I press this sign and I click on it, you can see it's highlighted on the words for me, the each one word for. Okay, so let's go back to our VS Code and let's add other HTML codes to it. So we're adding the image tag. So the image, the alphabet or the image, the tag for image in HTML is img. So we spell image to be image. That's not how image is being presented in HTML tags. It's just img, right? So when I type img, see it has given me what an emit for me to continue. Here I'll be using an emit. And within with the img, with the image tag, it has two attributes. One is src and the art. So the src simply means source. So that's where you put in the image link. So when I download the image, I'll put it here, and I'll just drive the image link and put it in here. And the art is the art will have a value. So in case maybe you are loading the website and the image not loading or the image can't be displayed, the words you write in here will pop up and or will read out to let the user know what the image is about. There are different websites you can get free images and put it on your website and use it. So let's big example is we have Unsplash. When you type Unsplash, right? So Unsplash is a free online repository of website where you can go there and get images for your website. So let's go there and get some images. Let's see if we can get some there. So let's look for some nice image, something like related to coding here. Let's see. This looks. Well, let me see. Okay, this looks nice to me. But you can use any image you want. I mean, you can take your own image and put it there. Don't worry. What? There are numerous ones here too that you can use. So, I mean, let's take this. Download free. So it's download for free. We are downloading it for free and use it, right? Good. So you have it downloaded. So let's put in our image over here. So show in folder. I'll show. So you can see the images here. Since we brought it, since we imported, we place it here. Pin what? You can see it also in our VS Code over here too, right? Yes, so we can use it. So let's copy. And there are two main ways of you putting your image link into your HTML code. Img tag, right? Your src attribute tag. So you can right click and copy the relative path, and that's the best way. That's the best, because sometimes you be copying an image from the internet straight, and the internet image is going to be kind of long and not friendly to read, so you can't type it, right? So you just copy it and paste it there. That's the best way, right? So that's why I have copy and paste in our computers. So we come here, Then we paste it over here. All right, so we have lady coding JPEG, right? JPG. All right, so let's save it, and let's come to our browser and see how it looks over here. So I just show you one of the website you can get free images, right? So one is Unsplash, another one is you can also get one as that's Freepik. You can get one as Freepik. You can get one as free. You can get one code from the Freepik, right? It's spelled Freepik. Sorry, Freepik. Yeah, Freepik. So I mean, it's also a website that you can get free images from. So Freepik is an image bank website, right? You can see Freepik is an image bank website. Content produced and distributed by the online platform. Includes photographs, illustrations, and vector images, right? The Freepik can get vector images, but for the Unsplash, you can rarely get vector images. It's full of photographs. But Freepik can also get vector images. The Freepik's where you get the vector images, but on Splash you don't really get vector images at. So you can get free images here. This is for maybe you're building a website for a food industry or some drink industry, you can put it here. Or some parcel company you are building a website for, you can use this one. I mean, they are free. There's no copyright behind. But they sometimes have some premium today that you can buy. Yeah, enjoy Cyber Monday with. So yeah, so this you have premium and paid one and also free one today. So I mean, it's nice to use both of them too. So you can use them. So let's go back to our page, right? And let's refresh it. But you see the image over here? Ouch. Looks like our image has taken all the page. All the page. Huge. So we will come and design it. Don't worry. Too huge. Let me use let me use the HTML value over here. Okay, let me use the fit red over here. Let me use one of the attribute of image. Let me give it it's too huge. I want to have a good view of how an image should be on a website. So we'll be doing styling very soon. Let me say let's say 60 70 px. Let's see what 70 px will give us. Don't worry, if you understand what I'm typing, don't worry. I'll explain it in CSS for you what 70 px is. 70 pixel, right? So I'll talk more about that in CSS very soon. So let me refresh. Okay, yes sir. I look very small. Look like the pixel is very small. Let's do 170. I don't get a large one. Okay, I mean this looks. I still want the large. So let's do it for last time. And let's see what we get over here. Let's do it 400, right? 400. Okay, let's see 400. Let's see 400. Okay, I mean this looks better now. So we have our heading over here. We have our image over here. And we have our page, our paragraph 2 over here too. So let's see how this looks under the Chrome Dev development environment, right? So when you see as I'm standing in the browser, my cursor over it, you see it's being what shows what over here, right? This is the image, right? This is the paragraph, and I expand it. See the text over here, right? See the text over here, and I expand it, right? So I click on it, see it's been clicked here. I instantly by there. So you can also come here when I click, It's highlights over here, right? That's when you use this cursor and I click the image get highlighted over here. So you can use this one to what? Check your missing code when you're coding. So we just talk about debugging a whole lot of stuff. So when you get the CSS, those stuff, right? So this is your simple website you've created. Congratulations. So there's last one that's changed. You see that document over here, right? That's what you see over here. That's what you see over here. This is it. Right. So I want to change it to any name. You can use your name, everything you like over there. But I mean, since the folder name is called my rep, let's do it my rep. Right. You can use any name you want. You can name the folder with any name you want. So let's save it. It's been saved automatically. So when it comes to the browser, when you refresh over here, see it changes, right? My name. Someone said, okay, what about the logo? I can't see any logo over there. So don't worry, we'll come to that. Doing CSS. So this is a simple page you can build. I mean, yeah, simple page. You can see the text is, I mean, there's no styling to make it beautiful. So let's create a web page where we are going to make our anchor tag get linked to, right? So and that web page, we're going to create a table there. We're writing a table in our web page. So let's create. Let's come here, new page. So what name should we give it to it? Okay, let's call it next page .html. Okay, so we just type the HTML template, HTML5 template. Click on it. So with this part, I'm using the Emmet a lot, right? So for you, I'm expecting to type fully, right? So that it gets stuck onto your fingertips. And over here, we are going to write, and over here, we're going to write a table over here. So we bring our section over here. But further, let's bring section so that the section would hold our table for us. So section is a holding tag. And so to create a table, you write the table tag. So you just write the right table, right? Table is a holding tag too. And with this, the table will, this is where we are going to write our table codes for it to be used. So over there, we start with our table row. So we're going to create 3 table rows, right? Let's start with the first one, TR. First, okay. So we bring it down. So TR is a holding tag too, right? There's a component of the table row that is a holding tag. So you see it starts with TR. So it has an opening tag and a closing tag too. So then we type our table headings. So we're going to type 3 table headings. So first, let's type the first one, TH. Give us. Then we click and highlight on it. Then we drag it down for it to create 4. So actually, we're going to get 4 table heads. So you hold Shift after you highlighting it. You press Shift, Alt, and arrow key down. So for you to create the 3 of the rest of the TH, right? So with the first table head, we're going to leave it empty because we want it to align with what? To be well aligned. When you are done, you will see what I'm talking about. So we come in the second head one, and what type of table should we write there? Okay, so we are going to create a coding schedule, right? That in November you should be able to learn this number of words of language. Maybe in November you should learn JavaScript by this percentage, right? So let's start. So this will be our first table heading, HTML. Then come to the third table heading. Then we're going to type CSS, also in full caps, right? CSS. Then we come to type JavaScript, right? That one will be in capital. That one won't be in full caps. But we will start with what? With a capital letter. So JavaScript, yeah. So we have our first table heading. So we are going to copy. We'll be copying this over here. So let's copy this. Let's copy this over here. Let's copy the TR. and let's right click. Sorry, let's shift Alt and arrow key down. So let's highlight it. It get highlighted. Then you shift Alt and arrow key down. Create the first to create the other table row. So with this one, our first TH will be left empty. It won't be left empty. We are going to write something there. So let's write November over there. We'll be writing November over there. Then with the HTML part where we have the HTML, we are going to clean it and put the percentage we want you to cover with what? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So in November, let me clean all of this stuff. Okay. So in November, I'm expecting to learn what percentage should I give there? 40%, right? 40% of HTML and 60% of HTML of CSS in November. Then 20% of JavaScript in November, right? So that was my expectation for you to learn, right? These languages in November. So let's highlight the second table row. That's the second TL. Then we press on Shift Alt and arrow key down to give us our third table row. So with this third table row, we are going to deal with the December, right? So the only thing we did was we will change the November on the first table heading and write December. We write December over there and write December, right? Then we change the percentages. So in December, I'm expecting to learn 72% of HTML. Then in December, I'm expecting you to learn or to cover 74% of CSS. And in December, I'm also expecting you to cover and learn 54% of JavaScript. So it goes by itself. So in November, I'm expecting to learn 40% of HTML over here. And in November too, I'm expecting to learn 60% of CSS. Then in the same November, I'm expecting to learn 28% of JavaScript. So you can see the gradation over the right. So it's the same thing when it comes to the third table row. Then so in December, 70% of HTML. Then 74% of CSS. Then 54% of JavaScript. So let's open our code over here. So let's save it. So you Control S. Then you right click. Let's right click over here. So when we go there, you can see our file over here. Right, next page. So we right click, we go to open it, then we come to the Chrome Dev, right? So this is going to open it for us. So you see our documents over here, right? So you can see the documents over here, right? 9 still written down. So it says in November, 40% of HTML, 60% of CSS, and 28% of JavaScript. So in December, you learn 70% of of HTML, 24% of CSS, and 54% of JavaScript. So this is the first. With the first one, we left it empty, and there too it's been left empty, right? With the first table heading, we left it empty. So this is our first row, our first TL, our second TL, and our third TL. That was the table row, right? So that's how it's been represented in our web browser. So let's open the browser console. Let's see. You can see the same thing too over here, right? It's the same thing being represented over there. So you can see the same thing being represented over here, right? And up here you can see over here. Yeah. So you can see here, you can see over here the same thing being what presented over here, as you can see, right? Great. So let's go back to our browser and let's work on our anchor tag. So with our anchor tag, we have our index file here. But before we can go to the next page, we need to what? Open it straight. But what if we've hosted it and every time you open a website, it brings you to the what? The index file. So you need to have a link to what? Move you to send it to what? The next page. So you're going to create an anchor tag over here at the bottom of the P for us to be able to send us to the next page. So let's start. So writing the anchor tag under the paragraph. So let's come down there and let's write a div, right? Using a div first. So then we bring in the anchor tag, right? Let's write A. So the anchor tag is an holding tag too. So let's write the word that it will let us see and know that what we are going to. So let's write next page. Next page. All right. And let's view it. Let's view this in our browser. So we use our meta over here, right? So you can see it over here. Very nicely written down there, right? Written there, the next page. So when you click it, doesn't send out to anywhere because we have not linked it to what? To the next page HTML, right? So it doesn't send us to anywhere. So there's it over here. So you must put in the href there, send us to link us to the place, right? So let's put in our href there for it to link out to that place over there. So we come down here. Go to our next page, we right click, then we come to copy with the left path. So we can just write it straight. Next page.html, but I said earlier on, you should always what? Go with the that way so that you get used to it. Right. So let's paste. Let's paste what we copied. Yeah, so this next page.html, right? And let's save it and let's go back to our browser and let's see. So when we go back there, we shall get it there too, right? So let's right click and let's refresh it. And when I looks like it. Okay, so now when I click on the next page, it's going to send us to the table page we created, right? It's going to send us to the next page, right? For us to view our table there. Because yeah, it has given us what? Our page again. But yeah, there's an UI usage error over here. If we want us to go back again, the error is what? We are not able to go back again, so we click the browser back arrow, which is not UI friendly. So for us, we can just go back to the page by clicking the next page and we go back. So let's bring the same anchor tag into the index, into the next page. So now let's refresh it. So when we refresh it and then we click on the next page, you see it has sent out to the what? To the next page file where we can view our table there, right? But it looks like here there's a UI error over here, and the error is what? There's no anchor tag here for us to go back to the home page, go back to the index page. So unless you use the browser back arrow, which is not that UI friendly. So let's, but here with the home page with the index file, when I click on the next page, it can send us to what? To the next page for us to view our coding shadow timetable. So let's, within the anchor tag here, to be like, okay, back home, something like back home, right? So let's go to our VS Code and let's get it done. So we can, so we will just copy it straight. Let's just copy this over here. I mean, since we learn how to write it here, there's no need to write and sweat there. You just copy this over here. Then you come to the next page. Okay, so let's bring it down below the section, right? Then we paste. Okay, so now let's save it. And when we save it, we'll be going straight. We can go when we save it, when we go straight to the browser, and when we refresh it, so you see our page over there, right? It's next page, but this one is using the same verse for next page. So let's change it. Let's change it over there. Let's change it to something. I mean, so we say let's change the next page. The anchor tower is holding it to the holding item, where is the next page where to, let's say back home, right? Back home. Okay, so let's save. And when we go to the VS Code, is when we go to the Chrome browser, we are going to see it over there. And when we go to the Chrome browser, we are going to see it over there. So when I refresh, you see it has changed to back home. Now when I click, now you could see when we click over here, it's not going back. Why? Because we've still not changed the URL. Still not change the URL over here. The URL is still next page. It's using this web page URL over here. So it's like I'm using my own link in my own web page. So it's not going to change. So let's change it here. So here we can type, because I mean we know it to be index. So let's type index over there. Index, and let's save it. And let's go back to our browser. When we go back there, you will see it. And let's refresh it. You see, when I click on it, it send us back, right? So now, so with the anchor tag, we can go back and forth. So that's the beauty of the anchor tag. That's what makes the web page a web page, right? You can next page, then back page, right? So yeah, so that's it. That's what's going to create, and that's what we've created. So you can see now it's not really stylish, it's not really beautiful over here. So with the next session, we'll be doing our CSS styling to make it beautiful over here, so that you can use the word CSS soon. So let's start. We'll be ending here, and see you in the next session. Have a nice day.